When Tony Caputo opened Caputo's flagship market in Deli in downtown Salt Lake City, he created what has been an oasis for European and Italian specialties like bronze cut pastas, cured meats, and fine cheeses for over the last 20 years. More recently, as Matt Caputo has taken over the reins of the market, it has become a gathering place for passionate foodies and the food curious alike.
From bitters to oils and vinegars, fine coffees and tea, artisan jams, and possibly one of the most thoughtfully curated chocolate selections in the entire United States. Caputo's is always at the forefront of international food trends right here in Utah, and it's the kind of place where both the novice and sophisticated palate can nerd out together, with a staff that is literally just as excited for you to taste the unexpected as you are to try it.
You know, Taste Utah, it's more than a typical food series.
Oh, that's right, Jame. It's about local flavor, from roots through unique, authentically Utah restaurants.
Oh, absolutely. It's the people, the places that make Utah a dining destination.
We love it because there's so much soil and earth to uncover, but still so many great Utah restaurants to savor.
Well, that's just it. We bring the stories and we spread the love.
The best thing about Utah, the views along the way, they're not bad either.
We're not afraid to get our hands just a little dirty.
Food is a necessity, but it's how we create it and share it and experience it together that really shapes our community.
You always have a seat at our table.
Are you ready to taste Utah?
Katie, we're in our 6th season
I
of
can't
Taste
believe
Utah. You know, we had to circle back, right, to the mothership, Caputo's.
Oh, Jame, because Caputo's is always keeping it fresh, right?
Absolutely next level.
It's Matt Caputo,
Yeah.
his wife Yelena, and a crew full of really, really passionate individuals. And I think Matt's got something pretty special for us in store.
He's waiting?
Yeah.
Ooh, let's go.
Let's get in there. Thanks, girl.
Matt! Mr. Caputo! Hello. Oh my goodness, so well.
So good to see you.
See you,
We're
ladies.
back in your universe. You know you couldn't keep us away for too long, right?
We would never want to.
No,
What fun is that?
well, we get giddy like walking up this walkway. It's just, we love Caputo's. It's like
Thank you.
Disneyland for us. So
Well, I've got
Yeah.
some wonderful things in store for you guys today. I'm so excited.
last time we were here, we featured the cheesecakes, which is different than cheesecake, which you don't
Yes,
have.
not
But
cheesecake.
tiramisu,
Yeah.
if you've got a sweet tooth.
Sure.
Okay, absolutely.
We've got olive oil, we've got amazing deli meats cured. I mean, everything at Caputo's is fantastic, but what do you have in store for us today?
So today I figured, we have to just dive into what we see as the quickest growing trend all across the nation in specialty food,
Okay.
which is conservas, otherwise known as tinned seafood.
Conservas.
Yes.
Wow,
Like,
tinned.
Yeah, like one
Seafood.
can of sardines might be like $3, another one might be like $20. And
That
there's
sounds
a
like
lot of
chocolate
differences. Yeah. Exactly. Which leads
actually.
me to the next point. We've also, of course, need an update on chocolate because a lot has been going on in
Praise
the
me.
global and
Yeah.
local
Praise me.
chocolate
Okay.
community, so we got to
Okay.
do that. And then, I figured we could bring it back home to this is kind of the palace that sandwiches built, right? So we got
Yes.
to talk about Deli.
Yes.
At our core, we're a deli. So I want to talk sandwiches.
So bottom line, you will feed us.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. Tinned seafood. Conservas.
Yeah. Now, growing up, as a kid, if mom brought us home like canned sardines, it wasn't a great day.
Yeah.
Wasn't a win.
Growing up, really, the only time I ate canned sardines, the ones that were available to me at the time anyway, was, like a late night after the bar, the fridge is empty,
Soaking up,
how much
maybe.
desperation
And
sets
just
in.
something in the belly, okay.
I guess I'll eat canned
Yeah.
mussels or something like that.
But even the smell of these enticed me to want to have some, yeah?
Good. Okay, yeah, times have changed.
Times have changed,
Okay.
and there's a big difference between, these giant fisheries, machines stuffing it into cans, versus some of the artisans that work by hand in Portugal and Spain, selecting the best of every catch, and then literally hand trimming, hand packing, cooking lightly in the can in a very different way that's done in the industrial methods. There's variation in quality, even within the same brand, based on the quality of the seafood that they're putting into the can. So this is the newest trend we're seeing at Caputo's, something we've been into for many, many years. We've been hoping to blow up this category of tinned seafood for at least 6, 7 years now. And just in the last year, all of a sudden it's popped big, and you see, whether you go to New York or LA or Paris or Tokyo or what have you, all these wine bars and cocktail bars are putting this stuff on the menu so that they just,
That's what I wanted to ask.
Yeah.
It is showing up in restaurants.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
All over Spain and
Such a
Portugal,
good
you'll see
question.
these little vermuterias popping up, place that specialize in serving vermouth, and they pair it with essentially nothing but tinned seafood. Maybe your cheese or meat here and there, but the star of these lineups at these bars are the tinned seafood. So it's this huge trend all over the world. Even in these areas like Portugal and Spain, where this sort of eating tinned seafood has been a tradition for 100+ years, it's still exploding right now like it never has been before. In Portugal, in 2019 so far, consumption of tinned seafood is up 89% in Portugal. So it's just incredible. We're so glad to see this happening, and we've been doing a lot with it here at Caputo's. We just had our first ever Conservas class that I got to teach. And it was full. We had 60 people in here.
Wait, a class?
Yes.
A food class at Caputo's? No, that's one thing that we really love about Caputo's.
Yes.
Now talk to us a little bit about the setup you have here. We've got some things from France, from Portugal.
Yeah, France, Portugal, and 2 from Spain.
Tasting the world at Caputo's.
Okay.
Yeah,
I love it.
Absolutely.
As expected.
So, tinned seafood producers that we use from Spain and Portugal, some of them focus entirely just on the ingredient itself. So maybe it's packed in olive oil, maybe not much else. As the French would do, they like a lot of sauces. Their cuisine is based on the addition of many flavors, making things more rich. It's a beautiful culinary tradition, and the company that we love that does this with tinned seafood is called Les Mouettes d'Arvor. Butter, garlic, and the gray sea salt from Guérande, and then it also has a little bit of parsley. So yeah, this is one of our favorite sardine products. We also have an octopus. Octopus is all the rage in restaurants everywhere, not just in tinned seafood, but as an entree. So this comes from a company called José Gourmet in Portugal. This octopus is just in olive oil with just a touch of garlic. Really? But what I love about it is the texture. The texture is that perfectly tender, just the right bite. It has just the best texture on the tooth.
Because octopus can get rubbery, right?
I know. I was imagining chewy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can really work your jaw out on octopus if it's just a little bit overcooked.
Oh my God.
Then we have a spinalaire. Anthony Bourdain actually did a whole episode focusing on this company. They started as a taverna over 100 years ago in Barcelona. So they're basically, for 100 years, they've been doing vermouth, ciders, and other cocktails and aperitifs with tinned seafood. They've been doing it for a long time.
Wow.
And what I've chosen to highlight today are 2 things from them. The cockles. So cockles are tiny little shells, basically clams, if you will, but small. And this is one of my favorite products. It's so beautiful. It's got all these different colors. It's orange, it's white. But what they're really claim to fame is their salsa espinalera. So the around 80 years ago, the grandma created this sauce. It's a little bit spicy, but it's based on vermouth. So vermouth is the base. There's spices, there's ingredients in it. So essentially like a Barcelona version of Tabasco sauce, but very different flavors. So what I love to do with this is the traditional way they'd serve it at Taverna Espinalera, and how they'd encourage you to do it is take some of the cockles,
Look at this with tongs.
put it on the potato chip, healthy dose of the salsa espinalera.
Yes, beautiful.
Very
Gets
good.
drippy.
Good.
And you have these potato chips
Sip
here.
of vermouth.
Yeah.
I do.
Now, is it sweet or dry, or does it matter? Or
You can do any of it.
Okay.
I prefer sweet vermouth with it, and that's more common.
Okay.
To go with the salt.
Yeah,
Okay.
a little sweet, salty,
Okay.
briny.
Yeah.
We've been comfortable with the sweet and salty for a long time here in America.
Yeah.
Like burgers, fries, and soda.
Yeah.
It's a natural thing. They go really well together. So I love the salty, briny seafood with the, the sweet and aromatic and herbal vermouth. Match made in heaven. Can't forget. Scallops in Galician sauce. So this is another company. It's called Conservas de Cambados, and they are based out of Galicia, Spain, one of the areas where they are very, very serious about anything in a shell, like bivalves.
That's
really,
their passion.
Yeah.
Anything in a shell.
Not just their passion, but all these the Rias Baixas, which are these inlets on the Atlantic coast that just are perfect environment for mussels, clams, scallops, and things like that. So they're really, really known for having some of the highest quality of these types of products anywhere in the world.
Tasting our way through Caputos from carefully hand-packed, consciously sourced tinned seafood, also known as conservas, we know a trip to Caputos is never quite complete without a little cacao conversation with Matt. It's chocolate time.
Sorry, Matt, we had to just hang back, taste a little of the conservation.
And it was amazing. Our eyes are open, our palates are delighted.
Yes.
Time to get into another one of your favorite topics, right? And ours too.
Maybe one of ours.
Yes, I eat a lot of chocolate. I think about chocolate.
And at Taste Utah, we have featured Solstice, Amano, Ritual, sort of all the local chocolate makers. And when we go there, what we find is that the chocolate process, though it's quite complicated just in its steps, the ingredients are very simple. Lay it down.
Should have 2 ingredients, right? Cacao beans, which is what chocolate is made of, roasted, grind it up, mix some sugar in, grind it up some more. Chocolate. I mean, it's way not that simple, but from an ingredient standpoint, that's what dark chocolate is. And one of my absolute favorites right now is this one. Ecuadorian Nacional, please.
Yeah.
Known
It's
for
like
notes,
the mermaid.
floral notes.
I can only be so patient.
It's known for notes of jasmine and flowers, but what I really love about this rendition of it is how bready. The smell reminds me of when I walk into like Banbury Cross. It's got this like very doughy, sort of like fried dough sort of smell to it, but then it's like uniquely sweet and floral in a way that just really makes your mouth water, despite the fact that there's hardly any extra cocoa butter in here.
So now we're moving on to...
So this is a chocolate company called Louisa Abram. Very unique about this company, it is all made from wild cacao in Brazil.
In Brazil.
No farms, guys.
Wow.
They're wild harvesting. So the genetic diversity.
Let me just let that sink in.
Yeah, exactly.
They are foraging.
Foraging,
That's so
literally.
cool.
They have videos of this. If you follow them on Instagram or anything like that, they're taking these tiny little motorboats that look like little more than canoes, and they're taking them up these tributaries in the Amazon, working with indigenous peoples to highlight and identify strains of cacao that are genetically unique. And what I love about the Jirua is specifically how crazily different it tastes from any other cacao I've ever had. So this chocolate is just 2 ingredients, cacao beans and sugar, but you're gonna see how different it can be.
It looks different already,
Same
even
ingredients.
just like the way that it cracks. And then 70% here, 70% here as well?
Yep.
Okay.
So same ingredients, wildly different exploration of flavors. Like this one was like smooth, and like if I think about it like music, this one was like a beautiful light symphony.
Yeah,
whereas this
easy.
one is like, it's getting smoky, it's getting like rough and like deep and maybe like a little more like rock and roll. Like this one is just very, very, very different. So anyway,
Love it.
love that
Story
chocolate.
of the
now,
Amazon.
nice local Solstice chocolate.
Yes.
We love
So
that.
Yeah.
I love supporting local when it's deserved. Last Northwest Chocolate Festival in Seattle, best dark chocolate bar.
Yeah.
You just dropped it.
Trust me, they don't care about Utah
Yeah,
chocolate in
no
Seattle.
way.
These tasters that are tasting these bars there are tasting, the tasters that are tasting chocolate there are tasting just for quality. And this very bar, made in Salt Lake City, Utah, using beans from India, won best in show.
I
at
mean,
the-
that's amazing.
Do it.
What a progression of flavor, right? So earthy, bready, a little bit floral, and you've got your smoky, earthy rock and roll thing going on here. And then what a departure this one is, right? Like fruity, tart, acidic, And it really almost eats like a fruit compared to these other things. Whereas one was bready, meaty, fruity. It's just an incredible journey.
Tell us a little bit about the chocolate festival. You do it every single year, and you've brought in some big brands. You brought in Amade, Ritual before they were
even
there in Park City.
Dick Taylor from
California.
Chocolate Naive from Lithuania. Last year we had Maru from Saigon.
And now
Vietnam. And now this year we have Omnom from Reykjavik, and they're coming with their team. They're coming here for 7 days. We're going to be doing some events, which will culminate with the Caputos Chocolate Festival. The whole thing is a fundraiser. 100% of the proceeds, we give 100% of the proceeds to a group called the HCP, which is Heirloom Cacao Preservation, which is a 501c3 nonprofit, so an absolutely beautiful nonprofit company that is fighting to preserve heirloom cacao. We're going to have 5 different restaurants that will be making savory and sweet dishes with Omnom's chocolate as the key ingredient. So, yeah. Well, it's a special thing for us too, because the HCP, this organization that we're benefiting through our annual donation from our chocolate festival, we are now their largest. This nonprofit, Caputos, is now their largest bursary sponsor for this genetic testing program that I told you about. Like when we go to present our check every year at their annual meeting, there's 200-300 people in the room from the industry, and they invite us up, we give the check, and there's like a round of applause. I mean, Salt Lake allows us to do that. Like our Utah community of chocolate geeks that come and pay for those tickets are making a huge difference.
I mean, they're great events, so it's something you want to get tickets to because you're offering a great event for an amazing cause, and the synergy is just beautiful. So thank you.
I love it.
The market at Caputos is unparalleled. So much to discover and explore. We could get lost in this place. Yet, at its heart, Caputos is, and always has been, a deli. And they've just revamped their menu.
Matt, from our incredible tin seafood and chocolate appetizers, now we really eat Italian, right? Now we feast!
Hold on, I need to get that in front of me right here.
What is this?
So this is our hot pastrami, and our pastrami, I really love it. We source our pastrami. It's important to us the which type of. It's got to be the real brisket. It's got to have a lot of nice fat to it. They cook it really carefully, put it with the arugula and the sauce. It's not, a classic pastrami sandwich like you'd see in the famous New York Jewish delis like Katz or one of those types. We don't try to mimic other great things. We put our own kind of take on this, and it's been one of our most popular sandwiches. This was added to the menu downtown very recently. It just went up, it's been super popular.
Now, these kinds of, you bring up a really great point, because there's Caputos all over the Salt Lake Valley. Can you get these items at every Caputos?
Yeah,
okay.
so each location has their own kind of spin on certain things, but basically the front of our menu, with the exception of the hot pastrami, is going to be the exact same at every location. Like at 15th and 15th location, for example, he doesn't do it just like this. He does his own take on it, which is a little bit more like the classic Jewish deli take on it. So this is one of my favorite things that just looks like a mess, but I just saw there's a piece of a salami that costs $40 a pound in there, and rather than just let it sit in there or give people crappy slices, just antipasti salad. And once you get to the end on the slicer, there's a little nub right there. You can't slice it anymore. So what are you gonna do with them, right? We're not gonna throw them away. So antipasti salad, this is what, maybe pound and a half, 2 pounds. Like that is full, so it's on greens. There are greens in there. I promise it's healthy-ish. But there's meats and cheeses in there from the market that can range from anywhere from $10 a pound. I think I saw a chunk of a pata negra that's $140 a pound. And then I see what you're doing.
You're eating a plate full of cookies.
yeah, smart move. So our cookies are good all the time. Of course, we use excellent chocolate in our chocolate chip cookies, a little bit of sea salt on top. But what's unique about them is, aside from the fact that there's lots of chocolate in them and they're only $1.99.
I mean, that's a thick cookie.
We put special chocolates in them. Like right now, this one has Valrhona pearls. So they're little crunchy, little bits of crunchy cereal, panned and rolled into white chocolate, dark chocolate, milk chocolate. They're super expensive though. The only reason we're able to afford them is I have a separate company that's actually become the biggest distributor of craft chocolate in the United States.
I love it.
So when they have, say, 18 extra pounds of, say, Valrhona pearls that we need to get rid of, and say a package tore open or something and we can't sell it anymore, guess who's the beneficiary? Caputos gets it for literally pennies on the dollar. So this is kind of the one that began it all in our best-selling sandwich. It's the Caputo. And this was actually created way, way back in the days before Caputos was even born. When I was a kid working the counter at Granado's, Oreste Mirabelli, God rest his soul, who was this old Italian guy that I worked with for years. He was almost felt like my godfather or something. He was just this gruff, like tough love type of guy, you know what I mean? Not the type to like dole out compliments ever, but you just kind of knew he cared about you know what I mean? He still took you under his wing and things like that. I made a sandwich one day down there that was a little bit of prosciutto, a little bit of soppressata, and a little bit of mortadella, with just a simple hit of oil and vinegar and a little bit of mild cheese on it. And I had it sitting there as my lunch in the back room, and he walked by it and goes, "What's this?" And I told him about it, and he took a bite and basically went, "Pretty good." And I was like, "Oh my God, that's the best compliment Reese ever gave me." And I knew that I had something special, so that when my dad opened his deli, I'm like, "Dad, I want to put a sandwich on the menu, that one that Reese really liked." And he's like, "Great, we'll do it. We'll call it the Caputo." And lo and behold, it's our best-selling sandwich, and still just my favorite because Reese approved. You know?
Yeah, that's an amazing story. I love it, and it also is indicative of how long you've been doing what you're doing, Matt. Like you have been in the industry.
I've been working in a deli since I was 5, literally. I'm 40 now. I turned 40 this year, so yeah, I've been doing it a long time.
We love what you're doing.
Thank you. It's so fun. We love it.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Maybe go look around a little more. Yeah.
Cheers.
Yay.
Cheers.